The biggest global scandal of the year has turned out to be what many had suspected, and some stars had hinted at as much as they could. But how do I Drip's kidnapping, Fear, and Justin Bieber tie into it? And did The Simpsons really predict everything again? Rapper, producer, billionaire, and media mogul Diddy has finally been officially arrested and charged with numerous crimes. In this story, you'll encounter theories and versions of events that will make you reconsider your view of Hollywood, show business, and certain celebrities. I guarantee it. For many years, there have been rumors about the rapper's criminal activity. A quick bio on him. Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, Puff Daddy, or P Diddy, is a hip-hop artist, businessman, and producer. He's one of only two rappers whose net worth has been estimated at $1 billion. The first is Jay-Z, who, coincidentally, is closely connected to Diddy. Diddy gained popularity back in the 90s and always wanted to be number one, to be the most talked about, the wealthiest, and to control destinies. This is what led him to producing. Puff Daddy collaborated with the rapper the notorious B.I.G, Biggie, in the 90s, who had a conflict with Tupac. Everyone knows Tupac's fate. He was shot in Las Vegas. And over the years, more and more rumors and speculations have circulated that Sean Combs, aka Diddy, was behind the hit on the rap legend. Eminem even jokingly referenced this in his track Kill Shot. And imagine the extent of Diddy's dark side if right after that, in the same track, Eminem felt the need to apologize to Diddy.
Diddy put the hit out, think I pop kill, ah? I'm just playing, Diddy. You know I love you.
By the 2000s, Diddy was already a huge star, but as the years went by, he moved more into the background, and people talked less about him as an artist. Instead, he was discussed as an entrepreneur, a man behind the scenes of a business where terrible things happen. If the charges against the rapper are confirmed, he could face life in prison. He is currently under constant supervision to ensure nothing unexpected happens, and there are even reports that he's suffering from severe paranoia, refusing to eat because he fears the food might be tampered with. But let's go step by step. Before the accusations of organizing questionable parties where things reportedly got out of control, there were already rumors in the media about isolated incidents of misconduct. Back in May, American singer Cassie Ventura accused her ex Diddy of mistreatment. CNN released footage showing him being aggressive towards her, dragging her by her clothes and acting violently. These events are said to have occurred 8 years ago. Cassie claims that Diddy manipulated her, influenced her lifestyle choices, and forced her into uncomfortable situations, filming everything in the process. It definitely raises questions that Diddy settled the case out of court the very next day after the lawsuit was filed. Why do that if he's innocent? After that, a wave of new accusations followed. One woman claims that in the 90s, the rapper allegedly gave her substances and mistreated her, recording everything and sharing the videos online. Another accusation involves a 17-year-old girl who, according to reports, faced a similar situation. A third woman experienced something similar after being offered a glass of wine, which apparently contained more than just wine, as she immediately began feeling unwell. According to the victims, these events took place back in the 90s and early 2000s, which brings us closer to the present-day events. Today, the world is buzzing about Diddy's house, where relentless parties allegedly took place. Victims were reportedly pushed to exhaustion for days and forced to do things against their will. It has been reported that there were rooms equipped almost like medical facilities, and over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants were discovered. Everyone who was spotted at any parties organized by the rapper seems to be implicated. Celebrities like DiCaprio and Jay-Z were also mentioned, and there will be a separate story about them. As for Jennifer Lopez and Justin Bieber, let's dive into the story involving Bieber. There's a theory that he was there not as a participant, but as a victim. In footage from the time, Bieber was only 14 years old, and Diddy talks about how they had a great 2 days together. A grown man in his 40s with a 14-year-old boy, Bieber clearly appears distressed in those clips. We all know that over the years, Bieber has developed some unusual behaviors and struggles, and his inner world is quite complex. But could this somehow be connected to the rapper's parties? It seems likely. For example, during those years, Bieber's career skyrocketed, but alongside that, in his songs like Lonely, he spoke about paying a high price for fame. Everyone knows about his past, especially since his mother posted a video on YouTube, which catapulted him to popularity. But what was behind all of that? As his biography became more known, videos began to flood YouTube, and producers started reaching out to him, leading to his rise to fame. What kind of price for fame is he talking about? It's interesting to consider now, especially in the context of his music video for Yummy, where adults, not exactly exuding tenderness, eat desserts. Could it be an allegory suggesting that the dessert for the producer might ultimately be a young, attractive Bieber, who by coincidence becomes a global star just a year later? The boy indeed released a string of brilliant pop tracks, and he was seen at events alongside Obama. As is known, the dress code at his parties was entirely white. In the end, Bieber is shown dancing with adults in white attire. Many also noticed tears in the eyes of the young musician, not in the music video, but in backstage footage. Everything about this is strange. The cosmic rise of Bieber and his incredible fear of speaking even a word in front of the rapper. The amount of attention from a 40-year-old man in this story raises a lot of suspicions. And the death of a well-known singer also comes into play. In 1999, R&B singer Aaliyah was quite popular and was dating rapper Jay-Z at the time. She began to be compared to a young, promising singer named Beyoncé, who would later become Jay-Z's wife. Aaliyah tragically died in a plane crash in 2001, sparking rumors that it was a planned operation by Jay-Z and Diddy, two friends aiming to promote Beyoncé and make her famous. Some speculate that Beyoncé was aware of this. Currently, there's a lot of discussion around J. Cole's track that was released 10 years ago, which has a chorus and title that closely resembles Beyoncé's surname. Although the surname is spelled differently, it sounds quite similar. In the song, he mentions the phrase, "Rest in peace, Aaliyah," followed by "She knows," which resonates with her surname. There are now no doubts that J. Cole was hinting at something and has openly suggested that Beyoncé was aware of these matters. Popular comments in America under the music video reflect this sentiment, with many stating that J. Cole knew everything, while the public is only just beginning to uncover this connection. Additionally, there is ongoing discussion about Michael Jackson's death, who was close to Diddy. The pop singer was often controversially linked to children, and opinions vary on this matter. However, his passing has become even more mysterious. Some speculate he may have known something and was planning to reveal it. For instance, there are discussions about a call Michael made to a friend, stating that he would soon be taken out, but we cannot be entirely certain about the authenticity of that conversation. Many laughed at Kanye West's eccentricities and performances, but now everyone seems to have gone silent, pondering, now we think we understand what he was hinting at. It seems that the music video Famous, released in 2016, is quite controversial and speaks volumes about the aftermath of certain parties, particularly the infamous White Party. The participants bear a suspicious resemblance to Chris Brown, Kim Kardashian, and Trump. Interestingly, the latter has commented in interviews that Diddy is generally a good guy, but the narrative has shifted. Diddy was arrested on September 17th, following a 6-month investigation. Authorities have stated that it would have been impossible for him to operate alone. His bail was denied, despite offering assets such as his $50 million Miami mansion, the sale of his private jet, and a promise not to contact the individuals involved in the case. Over 50 people have been questioned, and during those years, many global stars attended Diddy's parties, which are now under scrutiny. Names like Lopez, Kutcher, DiCaprio, and Usher are automatically under suspicion in the public eye, as the details of these gatherings begin to surface. Do you have any suspicions about what might have really happened at those events? His parties had different levels of entry, depending on status, preferences, and money. Inside his home, authorities found weapons, along with hundreds, if not thousands, of bottles of oils and various substances. There were also numerous IV drips, reportedly used to revive attendees after they were heavily intoxicated. Many survivors have testified to events spanning years, with some even alleging they were sold into exploitation. While official charges haven't yet been brought against him for trafficking, there are increasing claims that children were kidnapped and sold for the same illicit activities tied to what happened at these parties. The case involving Justin Bieber is truly shocking. There's video footage of him with Diddy where Bieber appears visibly uncomfortable, alongside the massive fame he gained and the struggles with dependency. Many of Diddy's alleged victims have claimed that he coerced people into behaviors, which now, in hindsight, seem connected to these notorious parties. Some victims have testified that everything happening at these events was filmed, likely for blackmail purposes. What might have been captured in these recordings is too dark for most of us to even imagine. But there's another layer to this. Following these events, careers often skyrocketed, which raises serious questions. It's hard not to feel suspicious about any pop star who gained major fame in the late 2000s, even without Bieber's horrifying story. Taylor Swift, whom Kanye hinted at, and Rihanna, who became famous with the hit Umbrella featuring Jay-Z, someone we've already connected to Diddy, both had connections to the rapper who attended those same notorious gatherings. Why would a globally recognized billionaire like Diddy choose to elevate someone like Rihanna if these claims are untrue? Why did he keep trying to settle these cases out of court? And now, why is he fighting to escape jail by selling off his most valuable assets rather than waiting for justice to clear his name? Could he be attempting to pull some strings behind the scenes to cover everything up, as he seems to have done in the past? At this point, it's hard not to believe the hints and warnings from other artists about the dark activities Diddy orchestrated. And yet, none of the major figures involved, not even Bieber, one of the biggest names in pop, has spoken out about this openly. Perhaps he is afraid, or maybe, as some speculate, Bieber is currently cooperating with authorities and may eventually reveal everything. Until then, he's staying quiet, likely not wanting to disrupt the investigation. But the internet has flooded with support for Bieber, and many are convinced that what he endured on his path to fame is now all too clear. Right now, there's a lot of buzz around a Simpsons episode where they depict what looks like these infamous white parties hosted by Diddy, his mansion, the crowd, everyone dressed in white, and armed guards. There's even a woman in the scene who looks strikingly similar to Beyoncé. You've got to see it for yourself. Either the creators of The Simpsons are psychic geniuses, or someone involved in the content has connections to high-level insiders, because the similarities are hard to ignore. What's also puzzling is Diddy's wealth. He's never been the #1 rapper, not even in the top 5, nor the top businessman, but he lives and influences as if he's the most powerful person in the industry. Why is that? Could it be because of the leverage he holds over influential people? Or is it the money he's been making from providing illegal services? He's a billionaire now. Let me know in the comments, do you believe Diddy is really involved in all of this? Or do you think it's all blown out of proportion? And have you lost faith in Hollywood and the global entertainment industry, or have you suspected this all along?